Shalom and good morning. Today we're going to do Genesis 26 through 30. I'm sorry. No, that's right. That's the wrong page. 26 through 30. And there was a scarcity of food in the land, besides the first scarcity of food which was in the days of Abraham. And Yitzchak went to Abimelech, sovereign of the Philistines, in Gerar. And Yahuwah appeared to him and said, Do not go down to Mitzrayim. Live in the land which I command you. Sojourn in this land, and I shall be with you and bless you. For I give all these lands to you and your seed, and I shall establish the oath which I swore to you, Abraham your father, which I swore to Abraham your father. And I shall increase your seed like the stars of heavens, and I shall give you all these lands to your seed, and in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed my voice and guarded my charge, my commands, my laws, and my Torot, and Yitzchak dwelt in Gerar. And when the men of the place asked about his wife, he said, She is my sister. For he was afraid to say she is my wife, thinking lest the men of the place should kill me for Ribkah, because she is good looking. And it came to be, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, sovereign of the Philistines, looked through a window, and he watched and saw Yitzchak playing with Ribkah his wife. So Abimelech called Yitzchak and said, See, truly she is your wife. So how could you say she is my sister? And Yitzchak said to him, Because I said, Lest I die on account of her. And Abimelech said, What is this you have done to us? One of the people had almost lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt on us. And Abimelech commanded all his people, saying, He who touches this man or his wife shall certainly be put to death. And Yitzchak sowed in that land, and reaped in the same year 100-fold, and Yahuwah blessed him. And the man grew great and went forward until he became very great. And he came to have possessions of the flocks and possessions of herds and a great body of servants. And the Philistines envied him. And the Philistines had stopped up all the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham, his father, and filled them with dirt. And Abimelech said to Yitzchak, Go away from us, for we are much mightier than we. For you are much mightier than we. So Yitzchak went from there and pitched his tent in the Wadi Gerar and dwelt there. And Yitzchak dug again the wells of water which they had dug in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them up after the death of Abraham. And he called them by the names which his father had called them. But when Yitzchak's servants dug in the wadi and found a well of running water there, the herdsmen of Gerar strove with Yitzchak's herdsmen, saying, The water is ours. And he called the name of the well Eske, because they strove with him. And they dug another well, and they strove over that one too. And he called its name Sitnah. And he moved from there and dug another well, and they did not strive over it. And he called its name Rehoboth, and said, For now Yahuwah has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And from there he went up to Beersheba, and Yahuwah appeared to him the same night and said, I am the Elohim of your father Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you, and shall bless you and increase your seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he built a slaughter place there, and called on the name of Yahuwah. And he pitched his tent there, and the servants of Yitzchak dug a well there. And Abimelech came to him from Gerar with Ahuzath, one of his friends, and Pekol, the commander of his army. And Yitzchak said to them, Why have you come to me, seeing you have hated me and have sent me away from you? But they said, We have clearly seen that Yahuwah is with you. And we said, Please, let there be an oath between you and us, and let us make a covenant with you, that you do no evil to us, as we have not touched you, and as we have done only good toward you, and have sent you away in peace. You are now blessed by Yahweh. And he made them a feast, and they ate and drank. And they rose early in the morning, and swore an oath with one another. And Yitzchak let them go, and they departed from his house, from him in peace. Goodness. And on the same day it came to be that the servants of Yitzchak came and informed him about the well which they had dug, and said to him, We have found water. So he called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. And when Esau was 40 years old, he took as wives Jehudith the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Basemath the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And they were a bitterness of spirit to Yitzchak and Rivkah. And it came to be, when Yitzchak was old, and his eyes were too dim to see, that he called Esau his elder son, and said to him, My son. And he answered him, Here I am. And he said, See now, I am old, I do not know the day of my death. Now then, take your weapons, your quiver, and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt wild game for me, and make me a tasty dish such as I love, and bring it to me to eat, in order that my being disbless you before I die. And Ribkah heard when Yitzchak spoke to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt wild game and to bring it. And Ribkah spoke to Jacob her son, saying, See, I heard your father speak to Esau your brother, saying, Bring me wild game, and make me a tasty dish to eat, and bless you in the presence of Yahuwah before my death. And now, my son, listen to my voice, according to what I command you. Please go to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats, and I make a tasty dish from them for your father, such as he loves. And you shall take it to your father, and he shall eat it, so that he might bless you before his death. And Jacob said to Rivkah his mother, See, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth-skinned man. What if my father touches me? Then I shall be like a deceiver in his eyes, and shall bring a curse on myself, and not a blessing. But his mother said to him, Let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice, and go, get them for me. And he went and fetched them, and brought them to his mother, and his mother made a tasty dish, such as his father loved. And Ribkah took the best garments of her elder son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob her younger son. And she put the skins of the young goats on his hands, and on the smooth part of his neck. And then she gave the tasty dish and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he went to his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am. Who are you, my son? And Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you said to me. Please rise, sit and eat of my wild game, so that your being might bless me. And Yitzchak said to his son, How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because Yahuwah your Elohim brought it to me. Then Yitzchak said to Jacob, Please come near, so that I feel you, my son, whether you truly are my son Esau or not. And Jacob went near to Yitzchak his father, and he felt him, and said that the voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands, and he blessed him. And he said, Are you truly my son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and let me eat of my son's wild game, so that my being might bless you. So he brought it near to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Yitzchak said to him, Please come near and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his garments, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field which Yahuwah has blessed. And Elohim give you the dew of the heavens, of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be those cursing you, and blessed be those blessing you. And it came to be, as soon as Yitzchak had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had hardly left the presence of Yitzchak his father, that Esau his brother came in from hunting. And he too had made a tasty dish, and brought it to his father, and said to his father, Let my father rise and eat of his son's wild game, so that your being might bless me. And his father Yitzchak said to him, Who are you? And he said, I am your son, your firstborn Esau. Then Yitzchak trembled exceedingly, and said, Who was it then who hunted wild game and brought it to me? And I ate all of it before you came, and I have blessed him. Yes, he is blessed. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, Bless me too, O my father. And he said, Your brother came with deceit, and took your blessing. And Esau said, Was his name then called Jacob? For he has caught me by the heel these 2 times. He took my birthright, and see now he has taken my blessing. And he said, Have you not reserved a blessing for me? Then Yitzchak answered and said to Esau, See, I have made him your master, and all his brothers I have given to him as servants, and I have sustained him with grain and wine. And what then shall I do for you, my son? And Esau said to his father, Have you only one blessing, my father? Bless me too, oh my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Yitzchak his father answered and said to him, See, your dwelling is of the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of the heavens from above. And by your sword you are to live and serve your brother. And it shall be, when you grow restless, that you shall break his yoke from your neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father draw near, then I am going to kill my brother Jacob. And the words of Esau, her older son, were reported to Ribekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, See, your brother Esau comforts himself concerning you to kill you. And now, my son, listen to my voice and rise. Flee to my brother Laban in Haran, and stay with him a few days until your brother's wrath turns away, until your brother's displeasure turns away from him, and he forgets what you have done to him, and I shall send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereaved of you both in one day? And Ribekah said to Yitzchak, I am disgusted with my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife from the daughters of Heth, like these who are the daughters of the land, what is my life to me? And Yitzchak called Jacob and blessed him, and commanded him, and said to him, Do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take a wife for yourself from there, from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. And El Shaddai bless you, and make you fruitful, and increase you, and you shall become an assembly of peoples, and give you the blessing of Abraham to you and to your seed with you, so that you inherit the land of your sojournings, which Elohim gave to Abraham. So Yitzchak sent Jacob away, and he went to Padan Aram to Laban, son of Bethuel the Aramean, the brother of Ribekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. And Esau said to Yitzchak and blessed Jacob. And Esau saw that Yitzchak had blessed Jacob, and went and sent him away to Padan Aram to take himself a wife from there. And that as he blessed him, he gave him a command, saying, Do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob had obeyed his father and his mother, and had gone to Padan Aram. So Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan did not please his father Yitzchak. And Esau went to Ishmael, and took Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth, to be his wife, besides the wives he had. And Jacob went out from Beersheba, and went toward Haran. And he came upon a place, and stopped over for the night, for the sun had set. And he took one of the stones of the place, and put it on his head. And he lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and saw a ladder set up on the earth, and its top reached to the heavens, and saw messengers of Elohim going up and coming down on it. And see, Yahuwah stood above it, and said, I am Elohim, I am Yahuwah, Elohim of Abraham your father, and the Elohim of Yitzchak. The land of which you are lying I give to you and your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall break forth to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And all the clans of the earth shall be blessed in you and in your seed. And see, I am with you, and shall guard you wherever you go, and shall bring you back to this land, for I am not going to leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. And Jacob awoke from his sleep, and said, Truly, Yahuwah is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid, and said, How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of Elohim, and this is the gate of the heavens. And Jacob rose early in the morning, and took the stone that he had put at his head, set it up as a standing column, and poured oil on top of it. and he called the name of that place Bethel. However, the name of that city had been Luz previously. And Jacob made a vow, saying, Seeing Elohim is with me, and has kept me in this way that I am going, and has given me bread to eat and a garment to put on, when I have returned to my father's house in peace, and Yahuwah has been my Elohim, then this stone which I have set as a standing column shall be Elohim's house. And of all that you give me, I shall certainly give a tenth to you. And Jacob lifted up his feet and came to the land of the sons of the east. And he looked and saw a well in the field. Sorry, I've got hair in my mouth. And he looked and saw a well in the field, and saw 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a large stone was on the well's mouth. And all the flocks would be gathered there, and they would roll the stone from the well's mouth, and water the sheep, and put the stone back in its place on the well's mouth. So Jacob said to them, My brothers, where are you from? And they said, We are from Haran. And he said to them, Do you know Laban, son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. We know him. Yeah, we know Laban. So he said to them, Is he well? And they said, Well, and see, his daughter Rachel is coming with the sheep. And he said, See, it is still high day, not the time for the livestock to be gathering, not the time for the livestock to be gathered together. Water the sheep and go and feed them. But they said, We are not allowed until all the flocks are gathered together, and they have rolled the stone from the well's mouth, then we shall water the sheep. While he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. And it came to be, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near, and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted his voice, and wept. And when Jacob told Rachel that he was his father's relative, and that he was Ribekah's son, she ran and told her father. And it came to be, when Laban heard the report about Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. Then he told Laban all these matters. And Laban said to him, You are indeed my bone and my flesh. And he stayed with him for a new moon of days. Then Laban said to Jacob, Because you are my relative, should you therefore serve me for naught? Let me know, what should your wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. And Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel was beautiful of form and beautiful of appearance. And Jacob loved Rachel. So he said, Let me serve you 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to you than that I should give her to another man. Stay with me. So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they served to him but a few days because of the love, but they seemed to him but a few days because of the love he had for her. Then Jacob said to Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are completed, and let me go in to her. And Laban gathered all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to be in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to Jacob, and he went into her. And Laban gave his female servant Zilpah to his daughter Leah as a female servant. And in the morning it came to be that, see, it was Leah. So he came to Laban. So he said to Laban, What is this you have done to me? What was it not for Rachel that I served you? Why then have you deceived me? And Laban said, It is not done this way in our place, to give the younger before the firstborn. Complete the week of this one, then we give you this one too, for the service which you shall serve with me still another 7 years. Good old Uncle Laban. And Jacob did so, and completed her week. Then he gave him his daughter Rachel too as wife. And Laban gave his female servant Bilhah to his daughter Rachel as a female servant. And he also went into Rachel, and he also loved Rachel more than Leah. And he served with Laban still another 7 years. And Yahuwah saw that Leah was unloved, and he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, For Yahuwah has looked on my affliction, because now my husband is going to love me. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, Because Yahuwah has heard that I am unloved, he gave me this son too. And she called his name Shimon. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, Now this time my husband is joined to me, because I have borne him 3 sons. So his name was called Levi. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, Now I praise Yahuwah. So she called his name Yehudah, and she ceased bearing. And when Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister, and said to Jacob, Give me children, or else I am going to die. And Jacob's displeasure burned against Rachel, and he said, Am I in the place of Elohim? Who has withheld from you the fruit of the womb? And she said, See my female servant Bilhah, go into her, and let her bear for me, and let me be built up from her as well. So she gave him Bilhah, her female servant, as wife. And Jacob went into her, and Bilhah conceived and bore Jacob a son. And Rachel said, Elohim has rightly ruled my case, and has also heard my voice and given me a son. So she called his name Dan. And Rachel's female servant Bilhah conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, With great wrestlings I have wrestled with my sister, and I have overcome. So she called his name Naphtali. And Leah saw that she had ceased bearing, and she took Zilpah, her female servant, and gave her to Jacob as wife. And Leah's female servant Zilpah bore Jacob a son. And Leah said, Fortune comes. So she called his name Gad. And Leah's female servant Zilpah bore Jacob a second son. And Leah said, I am happy, for the daughters shall call me happy. So she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, and found love apples in the field, and brought them to his mother Leah. And Rachel said to Leah, Please give me some of your son's love apples. But she said to her, Is it a small matter that you have taken away my husband? Would you take away my son's love apples too? And Rachel said, Therefore let him lie with you tonight for your son's love apples. And when Jacob came out of the field in the evening, Leah went out to meet him, and said, Do come into me, for indeed I have hired you with my son's love apples. And he lay with her that night. And Elohim listened to Leah, and she conceived and bore Jacob a fifth son. And Leah said, Elohim has given me my hire, because I have given my female servant to my husband. So she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived again and bore Jacob a sixth son. And Leah said, Elohim has presented me with a good present. Now my husband is going to dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. So she called his name Zebulun. And afterward she bore a daughter, and called her name Dinah. And Elohim remembered Rachel, and Elohim listened to her, and opened her womb. And she conceived and bore a son, and said, Elohim has taken away my reproach. So she called his name Joseph, and said, Yahuwah has added to me another son. And it came to be, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said to Laban, Send me on my way, to go to my own place and to my land. Give my wives and my children, for whom I have served you, and let me go. For you yourself know my service which I have done for you. And Laban said to him, If I have found favor in your eyes, please stay. For I have diligently watched that Yahuwah has blessed me for your sake. And he said, Name your wages, and I give it. So he said to him, You know how I have served you, and how your livestock have been with me. For the little you have had before I came has increased greatly, and Yahuwah has blessed you since my coming. But now, when I am to provide for my own house, when am I to provide for my own house too? And he said, What do I give you? And Jacob said, Give me naught. If you do this for me, I shall again feed and guard your flocks. Let me pass through all your flock today, removing from there all the speckled and spotted sheep, and all the black ones among the lambs, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and these shall be my wages. And my righteousness shall answer for me in time to come. When you come concerning my wages, every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats and black among the lambs, it is stolen if it is with me. And Laban said, See, let it be according to your word. And on that day he set aside the male goats and were speckled and spotted, and all the female goats that were speckled and spotted, every one that had white in it, and all the black ones among the lambs, and gave them into the hand of his sons. And he put 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. And Jacob took for himself rods of green poplar and of the almond poplar and of the almond and chestnut trees, peeled white stripes in them, and exposed the white which was on the rods. And he set the rods which he had peeled before the flocks in the gutters in the watering troughs where the flocks came to drink, and they conceived when they came to drink. So the flocks conceived before the rods, and the flocks brought forth streaked, speckled, and spotted. And Jacob separated the lambs, and made the flocks face toward the streaked, and all the black in the flock of Laban. But he put his own flock by themselves, and did not put them in Laban's flock. And it came to be, whenever the strong ones in the flock conceived, that Jacob placed the rods before the eyes of the flock in the gutters, so they would conceive among the rods. But when the flocks were weak, he did not put them in. So the weak ones were Laban's, and the strong ones Jacob's. Thus the man increased very much, and had many flocks, and female and male servants, and camels and donkeys. Well, as always, thank you for your time today. Hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope my sickness doesn't come through too much for you. Have a good one.